Now, so here's a problem: how to review 12 volumes with 13 distinct stories in one review. Obviously, that's just not going to be possible, so I'm just going to be doing an overview of Osamu Tezuka's Phoenix Saga. Phoenix started in 1967 with the Dawn chapter and continued on and off through 1988, ending with the Sun chapter, although the presence of the early works volume, which doesn't fit into the Grand Saga, implies that the idea started even earlier than that. By many, this work was considered incomplete with Tezuka's death. Phoenix was considered Tezuka's life works, and odds are high that he had plans for at least one more chapter in the epic. The overall basic idea is that each chapter deals with humanity's hunt for the Great Phoenix, whose blood is said to grant eternal life. Some stories take place in the distant past, while others take place in the far future, except for some which takes place in both the distant past and... Wait, 2008? What? The past chapters have one sort of feel, while the future chapters have another, and for whichever one you're likely to prefer will entirely depend on your current taste as is. The future ones are all sci-fi, the past ones are all kind of feudal feeling. Each story also tends to connect to at least one other at some point. In one case, the exact same characters in two different stories, but usually character reincarnations or references to other specific events is what ties the stories together here and there. However, there is no wrong way to read the Phoenix Saga, chronologically by story year, chronologically by order of year released, or any completely random order are all fine since you don't need to read one chapter to understand any other chapter in the story. Not to sound lazy, but going into the story of each individual volume right now will take up way too much time, and it's almost better to discover each tale for yourself anyway. So it's buy, rent, skip time. All volumes are available from Viz and range in price from $15 to $17 each, but most are $16. They're getting pretty difficult to find at this point, and to be honest, they're not all equally worth your money. With the exception of Volume 12, every book has a higher than normal page count. A few of them come in at over 400 pages, but most are in the 300 page range. All books are big size and all books are flipped, making for some rather hilarious translation errors in Karma. So the skip pile includes two titles, Nostalgia Volume 6 and Early Works Volume 12. Early Works just seems to be Tezuka messing around with the idea. It's not bad per se, but it doesn't really add anything to the experience either. Nostalgia, on the other hand, is just plain garbage. It's like Tezuka wanted to make a manga about sightseeing in a fictional universe and somehow ended up in the Phoenix Saga. It's one of the only chapters no one bothered to make into an anime, probably because it's a complete bore fest. The buy pile's problem is that all the best titles are in the buy pile, and all the best titles are harder to find. I would put Future Volume 2, Karma Volume 4, Resurrection Volume 5, and Sun Volumes 10 and 11 in the buy pile. Karma is often considered the best in the series, although my personal favorite is Resurrection, and thus is the hardest to find, and used copies are upwards of $80 as of right now. The past half of Sun, which is the better half, was recently animated in the 2004 anime, which I might advise getting in lieu of the Sun manga. Speaking of which, the only Phoenix anime currently available in the States is the recent 2004 series available from Media Blasters, and this is a solid buy too. Getting the anime, which I highly advise due to being so cheap and plentiful, will successfully knock out Dawn, Strange Beings, Future, and the better part of Sun. The rent pile includes Dawn Volume 1, Space and Yamato Volume 3, Civil War and Robe of Feathers Volume 7 and 8, and Strange Beings and Life Volume 9. Although I call these rent, it's more like buy, but after you've got all the things on the buy list first. These are still very good and worthy of any collection.